We turn now to the findings of the independent review of the Rangataiki River scheme, perhaps better known as the breach in the flood wall at College Road in Edgecumbe, causing the destruction of 15 homes and extensive damage to a further 250. This was in April, of course, as ex-tropical cyclone Debbie deluged Bay of Plenty with huge volumes of rainwater. The rain was at historically high levels, but could more have been done to prevent or reduce the consequences? Could warnings have been sounded earlier? Well, the answer is a bit of yes and a bit of no. The panel was concerned, and I quote, that there has been insufficient attention paid to the risks faced by the Edgecumbe community while the Rangataiki River scheme was being upgraded, end quote. And as the rain fell, why weren't alarm bells ringing? Again, a quote from the panel. It seems somewhat surprising that there were not warnings about high river levels posing possible inundation risks to the community. Now, shortly before we came on air, I spoke to the chair of the review panel, Sir Michael Cullen, about whether the flood would have been less damaging had long delayed work on the floodway and spillway actually been completed.
If the Reed floodway and spillway had been completed according to the kind of design which was originally approved and consented, it probably would have made a very limited difference because of some issues around that design. If it had been completed according to the kind of designs that we are suggesting in the report, that is a much wider floodway down to the end near the sea and a low fixed spillway, then quite a significant amount of water would have been diverted, and possibly that could have made a difference. But that, of course, is not even consented at this point. So we're a long way from achieving that situation.
And you say that in the report, the Reed's floodway and spillway is still some way off. Are you surprised by the fact that after all this time that is still the case?
Well, I think the problem is that issues emerged after 2009 with the proposal which had been accepted and had been consented. It became clear the optimal solution, but then working through all the issues around what was the optimal solution became more and more complex and involved, for example, building higher stop banks further up the river at significant cost. So all this was on the planning horizon, if you like. Unfortunately, the flood came along before completion. What we're really saying is that the Regional Council needs to get on urgently now with consultation with the community around the low fixed spillway option, which is probably the best, particularly from the perspective of the urban community in Edgecumbe and the smaller settlements downstream, and then get on with the work that requires to be done to make that happen. Longer term, we are looking to really a change of philosophy in allowing the river more room to move and less constriction between narrow high stop banks, because that kind of mid-20th century technological solution is becoming less and less in favour around the world because of the problems which arise when you keep doing that kind of thing. And Louisiana is a good example of that writ large.
You say it is extremely fortunate that no one was seriously injured or killed as a result of the College Road flood wall failure. And you talk about a surprising lack of a warning. So the fact no one was killed, the fact that the consequences weren't more grave, is good luck rather than good management?
A bit of good management at the end by quite a few people, including fire service personnel and regional council personnel who were able to get people in direct path out pretty quickly before things happened. It was concern already building up half an hour, 45 minutes before things actually happened at College Road. But that's a pretty narrow time. And what we are saying is that there really needs to be, at least until the Reed's floodway and spillway are complete, it needs to be trigger points which are much more realistic for evacuating people from those urban areas. And there's many hours available because you're getting reasonably decent information well upriver, well above Matahina Dam, which tells you that there are likely to be serious problems. And the kind of flood we had here, the kind of river levels, were one of three very high peaks that we had since 1940. So these are not that common events, although likely to become more common, of course, with climate change.
Sir Michael Cullen, it's a long report. It's only come out after 4 o'clock. After 6 o'clock, we will talk to the head of the Regional Council about what happened and what more they could have done to protect that community.